Well, I fell asleep right after we went up 2010, and then I woke up immediately as Muth scored the second 80-yard, 670-yard touchdown to go down one. And sure enough, that boy Joe, he's him. Led us on a little drive.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Closing the Deal. I am one of your hosts, Sam Enright, and sitting across from me today is my co-host, Zach Dixon. Zach, what's going on today, man? How are you?
Oh, fantastic. Cannot complain at all. Beautiful Friday. Yeah, it's a little cold out there, though. I woke up and my AC was on a little too low, and had some nose, some runny nose
like
going
icicles?
on. Yeah.
You had
hanging out the
icicles on
nose.
your nose. Yeah, that's definitely that's way too cold for sure.
Jack Frost type shit. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, it's definitely it's a bit brisk out there, certainly.
Yeah, and it's time of the year where you have to have the heat and cool on. Like, you can't have one or the other on. You got to have both. Like, to the number that the minimum number and to the maximum number. Obviously, I didn't set that correctly last night because a little chilly, but I'd rather be cold than hot when sleeping, though. I think that's a favorable term across most people, in my opinion.
I would agree. I think just body wise, we react to better. We get better sleep in a cold environment, just as human beings in general.
It's just crazy too, because I can't operate. My body, my brain shuts down when it's cold. I can't focus, can't think, can't do anything.
I know, but think about it. Like you're on ice, so to speak, which would slow your heart rate down. All of these things, which is going to promote like a deeper sleep, and all the things that make sense for why it's cold. Like if it's hot and you're like sweating in your sleep, your heart rate's increased, like you're going to not get as good a sleep because your body's working harder to try to cool itself down. Whereas if you're already cold, your body can kind of go into reset mode and just kind of cruise. It's kind of interesting to be honest. I really never thought about it that way. It's almost like like death a little bit, you know what I mean? Like borderline, right? Like, because obviously we live our lives, and most people, I would say, probably are hovering around like 70, 80, 90 beats a minute on average per day. And then at night, like if you can get down in those low 50s, like high 40s, like bro, like just think about that. Like that's just crazy. Your
more or less dead, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're dead, your heart's beating 0 beats a minute. But I mean, kind of right.
I don't think I had the science lesson as our intro topic on the Saturday Talks episode 5 on the bingo card, but hopefully somebody learned something there.
I would just like to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a scientist. Do not use any of my words as facts. That's just, that's my hypothesis on the situation.
No, but I think Whoop has taught us a little bit of something. You put me on to the Whoop gang. I think that's taught us a little bit on that front, in terms of sleep, recovery, heart rate. I think it's a pretty good little tool, honestly, to keep your body in check all in all. So I think that has taught us a lot. Me specifically, I would say you probably too.
No, for sure. I think it's cool. I think the most underrated feature of it all, like, remember we were talking to our friend and he's like, well, I have this and it monitors my heart rate and stuff. But I think one of the best things about Whoop is the tracking of behaviors and like journaling, like what you do daily. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I drink caffeine past this point, like it will track that behavior based on, like, let's say I start my morning with a coffee, but I have a coffee, at 3 p.m., and now my recovery for the day is worse, or my sleep, it will track basically your behaviors and kind of talk about, things that you should avoid closer as you get to bed and those sort of things. So I think that's probably, like I found out very, very easily that like if I eat close enough to bed, like I'm not going to get like necessarily terrible recovery, but it's not going to be in the green. It's not going to be the best that it can be because my body's working to digest that food as I'm trying to shut it down and sleep and put it in relaxation mode. And it's just not wanting to do it. I guess it can't do it, right? because I put shit in it to make it work. So it's really on me, not on my body. It's just, performing its natural tasks.
Oh shit, I think you might have taught me something there too. I haven't dove into that side of it at all. They keep trying to tell me to journal, but
you haven't journaled?
Not once, no.
What? Oh, really? Dude, you got to go. Yes, you got to go. So like basically like you go in, there's like different behaviors for like physical like things you would consume. So like if you take like certain supplements every day, if you drink caffeine, like there's like just different life behaviors. Like if you read before bed, or if you do like an ice bath, or you do the sauna, or any of those things, like you literally just go in, put the time. Some of them have time, some of them don't. Like timestamps, and so that it can track. So like for caffeine, that's the first one on my journal list. I'll put, I had, like yesterday I had an energy drink and had a coffee in the morning. My last caffeine was at 10:30 a.m. or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I had 2 servings basically. And so like, yeah, it'll go through. And then as you do that over time, it'll, track your behaviors and tell you what's beneficial to you and what's not beneficial to you.
So how does that relate to like the activities? Because activities like auto post for me at this point. Like when I go play golf, it auto posts for me. When I go sit in the sauna, it auto posts for me. When I do my walking, it auto posts for me. Like once I do the event for the first, like I have to manually put it in for the first time, but then after that it automatically does it. So how does that relate to the journal?
So like on my journal, for instance, like I know that like, so the workouts, like I don't go and log my workouts in the journal because they're already logged in the activity. You know what I'm saying? So it already picks that up. But like in my journal, it'll tell me like an early workout versus a late workout, what that's doing for my recovery. I may get plus 6% recovery if I work out early, and I might get minus 5% recovery, if I decide to work out 7 p.m. or later, because, you're again, putting your body in a mode where it's ready to go, so it tracks that. That's going to be automatic. But like, there's things that it wouldn't know. So like, for instance, like if you drink like I put like I drink electrolytes on there. I put that I take creatine every day. I put like if I take a magnesium supplement before bed, I'll put caffeine. I'll put, just there's a whole plethora of things that you can add. Like the list of what you can journal is very, very long. And so I only choose things that are obviously very, like if I do an ice bath once every 3 months, like I'm not journaling that I, for 89 of the 90 days, I didn't do an ice bath. And then the one day I did do an ice bath, like I'll leave something that's not a common occurrence off of the list. But anything that's in my life that I would do consistently, I put on there ultimately.
Well, I think you taught me something this morning with the science lesson. So I appreciate you on that one. Little golf clap. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Just a disclaimer to the listeners, we are in no way sponsored by Whoop, but we spent a 10-minute segment there talking about Whoop. I would highly, highly recommend it to anybody out there considering, health tracker, et cetera, et cetera. The features on there are fantastic. And as you see, I have learned something new today and, something new I can implement on my side of things. So definitely highly recommend the Whoop as a whole to everyone out there.
I agree. It's definitely been a great tool. I had it, got rid of it, and then got it back. And so it's been, I enjoy it. I enjoy kind of diving into those things and trying to, it's almost like a guideline for your health, right? Like it's a way to actually, kind of optimize those things. If that's what you're into, if you're not into it, then teach his own. So, but yeah, where you want to take us next, since we had a segue there into a long Whoop talk?
I'm going to go my frustrations with our fantasy football league. How about that?
That feels like a great place to start, specifically for you. I know this has been weighing heavily on your mind and heart here recently, so feels like a great
not
time.
Just recently.
Well,
not just
years,
recently.
But
year
it goes,
year
it
over
goes
year
and comes.
over year.
It goes and it comes and goes. It becomes. You're not saying this necessarily in March. It's not at the forefront of your mind, so it's put on the back burner. But then, yes, it rehashes old scars every time we start this process over again. You're even anteing up out here. You're putting money on the line for people that are willing to make trades in the league. So, I don't want to get too far. I don't want to speak for you. So why don't you go ahead and take us into your frustrations?
Well, I think let's get started with saying that, most of the fun of fantasy football comes with trading, doing trades, engaging in those types of conversations, trying to make your team better as a whole. I think that that's what, obviously NFL GMs are doing on a day in, day out basis. Obviously, it's very evident that those trades are not happening on a day in and day out basis. And obviously, that's their main job that they're getting paid millions and millions of dollars for. I can obviously understand all of those aspects 100%. But when we get back to the fantasy football trades, and we are now 8 weeks into the season, we're into week 8, right? Week 7? Which one?
7. Yeah,
One
7.
of them. Yeah. Week 7. And our first trade of the year happens in week 7. It is just mind blowing to me. The fact that nobody feels like they can get better by making a trade, or vice versa, that they feel like they can't make a trade because they can't get worse. And that just goes back to a principle in my life that I try to apply in really all aspects, and is not blocking yourself from blessings. Like, don't overthink yourself. Don't overanalyze situations to block yourself from something that could be, telling yourself all of these negative things about whatever it may be, but not even looking at the positives down the road that could happen based on this situation, only looking at the negatives. And so just tying it back into fantasy football, the lack of, interest, the lack of trades just in general is just a little bit disheartening, unfortunately, because it is a fun aspect of fantasy football, and one of the biggest ways you can make your team better. We got teams out here 1-5, 2-4, 2-4, not willing to offer nobody. Like, brother, your team is 2-4 for a reason. You need to make a move. Something needs to happen. You have to do something, or if you just stay pat, you're going to continue to be bad. But ultimately, I don't know how people can just buy into a team that is bad. Like, if I watch the team perform bad 2 weeks in a row, it's time to do something. Cats are okay. 7, 8, 9, 10 whole seasons worth of team without making a trade, and I just can't comprehend it for the life of me. Unfortunately, I cannot comprehend it. But I have this conversation every single year. Every single year I have this conversation, and I just don't know how we. I probably got to get over it. Ultimately, that's probably what's got to happen.
Well, let's unpack the psychological side of it for a second. I mean, what do you think goes into these things? Because I don't
think anybody thinks about anything, frankly.
That's what I mean. Do you
Yeah.
believe that because of, obviously we used to trade quite a lot. Do you think because of where we've gotten in life, just in general, not really fantasy football, but just the age that we're at, the things that everybody has going on, that they are no longer interested in what it takes, excuse me, and what it takes to make a trade, because it does require research. It does require chit chat per se with people, and conversations that can take away from other daily tasks. Like, do you think that that's a leading cause of why most people just say, to heck with it? It's much easier to not do it than worry about this or go down this road? Or do you think it's more so, I've contemplated, is it buy-in? Is it worried about doing a punishment? Is it worried about losing $350 and having nothing to show for it? And so, because oftentimes, I feel like most people, I think, if you're on a sinking ship, some people look at the lifeboat and say, well, that could sink too. So I think I'll just stay on what I already know is going to sink, and instead of taking a risk to go elsewhere, you know what I mean? So, like, you're talking about teams that are 1-4, 1-5, 2-4, they're just kind of there. They're just like, yeah, we're already in dead last. It can't get any worse. So why would I go and do things like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying I agree with. I know. I'm not saying I agree with that either, but it does make it challenging. There's a lot of things. We've added different personalities. We do have people that are in different phases of their life and don't want to engage in those sort of conversations or just spend the time doing it. We have cats in our league who will talk about it nonstop and blow you up, and I can understand how that could turn people off and just be like, this ruins it for the rest of the league because you have set me off to, like, this is annoying. I don't want to deal with this. You know what I mean? And so it's like, then you kind of carry that expectation in with everybody and say, well, this is what's happening here. So if I want to go engage over here, I'm probably going to have to deal with the same thing. Do I even want to deal with that at all? Likely not. So, there's obviously a lot there to unpack, but I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I agree. I think that makes it more fun. I think that that's a way to correct. I mean, basically where we're at in the league right now is you have to get it right for 15 straight picks, in late August, right? I mean, that's
yep. With no information.
Yeah,
with
no information,
just
but also
preseason information. Yeah.
You do have, obviously waiver wire, and you do have cats that are available. So there's that side of it. But like basically you're asking yourself to be, barring injuries, not even taking those into consideration, like you're asking yourself to be perfect ultimately, right? And draw the best luck of anybody out there that deals with no injuries, loses no players because, but hey, teach his own, right? Everybody's got a different mentality as well. Like they all look at it different.
That's true. And I think, going back to what you said, obviously, yes, the stage of life definitely plays a factor into it. I'm not trying to spend hours on hours a day talking about trades going back and forth. But ultimately, like, situations arise that I think you do have to make deals. Like, honestly, you have to do something, or you're just in a shit spot. Like, one of our guys in our league just doesn't have any running backs at all. He is relying on the waiver wire to start his second running back, like every single week. Eventually the starter is going to come back to that team that he's starting a running back on. And now he's going to need a running back again. So at some point you look around the league for a guy that has a lot of running backs and trade one of the receivers for one of the running backs. Just, it seems very self-explanatory to me. Like, my number one, good example, my number one pick, Lake Neighbors, obviously tore his ACL. I have to make something shake from that. I can't just sit back and take an L on my best player being out for the year and getting nothing back for it. I got to go make something happen to replace that, unfortunately. And typically our waiver wire in our league is pretty thin, so the success, the likelihood of finding like starters off the waiver wire. I got lucky that I got Javonte Williams after the draft on the waiver wire. Like, that is very, very lucky. But the probability of finding starters week in, week out on the waiver wire is just, especially after week 1, week 2, is just not very high.
And it's all barring injury at that point. I mean, a lot of the reason that a lot of these guys have come up is because starters got injured, or even backups got injured, and you know what I mean? And so there's room for opportunity, but it's a Band-Aid on a bullet hole ultimately, right? Because like you said, they're going to come back. And so, it does. I mean, I'm right there with you, but there's also different value systems throughout every single guy. Every team's compiled different. I got a text last night from one of our league mates, like, hey, would you ever consider this, trading me this player? And I'm just like looking at the team and I'm like, there's nothing that you could offer me that I would do that for. Like, there's just not, because I know what you're not going to spend. And you, in my opinion, are a little top heavy. You have some really good players, but you're not going to package up those really good players and send them to me. So you're going to try to trade me a bench cat and a fringe starter to make one of my starters go to you. And it's just like, it doesn't, where's the value in that ultimately, right? Like, especially when I'm in the position where this particular person wanted a running back. I'm thin at the position already. So not only would I be taking an L at the position, but then I'm going to take one of his bench cats as well to sit on my bench to provide virtually zero value to me. You know what I mean? So it's like, but everybody views things, differently, I guess. So that's where I'm at.
For sure. The last thing I think I'll say on it is I think the most frustrating aspect for me personally is when I get an offer in my phone or even in the inbox on the app, and I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. If I'm supposed to say yes, or if I want to say yes, I guess I'm supposed to say no, because when I say yes, it just immediately gets rescinded because I obviously said yes too quick, and now this person feels like I'm taking them up top. So
there is a psychological warfare of it all.
Like, I don't know how else cats want to talk about it being busy. Like, we're busy. We don't want to spend hours on a day doing this. When I say yes immediately, just take the time out of it, take the guesswork out of it. Nope, no way. We're not going to do that anymore. He took us up top. So I think that is really just the most frustrating aspect of it for me personally. And then just watching other people getting phones of people that are not trading at all, and I've been asking for an offer for weeks on end, and I'm still waiting to this day, to this moment. So we'll see if that comes at any point over the next today, tomorrow, anytime during this season. Likely not. Probably just going to chit chat the rest of the year.
I don't know. You gotta have a slew of different type of people in your league, right? I think we have few too many cats cut from the same cloth, ultimately. You know what I mean? So when you got that many cats that cut from the same cloth, you're not going to get things done, you know? And I don't mean this. Yeah, obviously we have had some league mates in the past. I think fortunately, unfortunately, we have a lot of smarter league mates now. You sometimes you can pick off the one or two just caught slipping types in the league, but we don't really have any of those anymore. So, which is a good thing for all of you, in our league that, I'm mentioning here right now. More subs coming out. You guys are great guys and a lot smarter than maybe some of the people in the past have been. So I also understand that, that part of it as well. So everybody feels like they need a dub, and very rarely do two people come together and feel like they got a dub.
That is the truth, brother. That is the truth. Well, let's get the fuck let's get off of the fantasy football.
You're getting yourself worked up. Pressure.
Yeah, I can just feel it rising.
Maybe we should put a live from now on when we talk on Saturday talks about, topics that create rising blood pressure. Maybe we should put a live Whoop monitor on the screen for just heart rates. I'd be curious to see, what yours looks like out there when talking about said things. But yeah, I mean, where to next,
How's the wedding coming? We got about what, 7 months, 8 months?
Is it coming up quick? Like 9.
I mean, we're almost in November, bud. That would make it 7.5.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That math does track. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of in the same spot, like more of like a lull period.
Holding period.
Just holding pattern, we have payments and stuff coming out for some things. I mean, Jordan did order save the dates and such the other day. So, I mean, those sort of things are still in the works, but like all the big things are out of the way. They've been either set up or, put in place to be ready to go. So I don't know like where my responsibilities fall for the rest of this, I feel like when I think about it, there's a lot of things still to be, done, but it's like a lot of like, decoration.
Shit you can't do
how is this going to look here? Or what are we going to set this up as? Or here's what, here's what I want the drink menu to look like. Here's what I want the, the seating chart to look like, those sort of things that, it's like, I guess some of it depending on like what you want it to sit on or, that sort of thing can obviously be started. But I feel like we're in a good spot ultimately.
Yeah. And most of that stuff that you mentioned, you really can't do until like a month beforehand, a couple of weeks beforehand, like till you really get a grasp, where you're at that point and what kind of, when you walk in, obviously you've been through your venue, but like when you go for the week before and you start seeing it all come together, obviously that's when you can kind of, do some of those other details, smaller details, I should say.
Yeah, because we haven't even, we're supposed to, I believe, I can't remember if it's 6 months or what it is, but we do have our next meeting is supposed to be in person. And that will be the first time that we've been back to the venue since we originally went and looked at it. So obviously that was, at this point, 8 months ago, I think early February. So, we haven't really seen it in person since then. So obviously at that time we're like, yeah, we're going to lock this in. But, obviously I think we saw like a 3D, hey, here's what we're thinking, but it's a lot different going in person and seeing it. And I mean, they have some stuff available there. Like, I think they do like tablecloths, linens, all that stuff themselves. I think they have some table decorations and whatnot to choose from. So hopefully get a better idea, actually in person of what all that stuff's going to look like and where you want stuff set up and that sort of thing.
For sure, because it is a lot. Like I obviously when you like with ours specifically, we everything, every detail was pretty much on us. Like nothing was really provided by the venues, so it was. I had to delegate a lot of tasks for sure.
Yeah.
because it can be overwhelming, no doubt. When you have just choices in front of you, ultimately, sometimes you just want to be like, whatever, whatever, whichever one works, like just to make the choices easier when you have a bunch of choices on your plate, you know what I mean? And so like, that's obviously not what you want to do for your wedding. You don't want to just be like, hey, whatever works. Like, so you want to spend the time and make sure that everything looks exactly how you want it to. And exactly how you have it planned for sure. So,
yep. But I mean, yeah,
you did make we did make progress on something though recently, didn't we?
we did. Yes. We locked in the Bachelor trip, half week, whatever you want to
Half
call it,
week.
half week. We did lock that in. So, shout out my brother for holding it down on that side of things. And we found a actually pretty sick
Dope.
Airbnb. Yeah, all things considered. I mean, the bed situations leaves a little bit to be desired for sure, but I mean, it's 6 dudes, so we'll figure it out. I'll sleep on the couch or sleep on the floor. Really, I don't personally
Ain't sleeping
care
on a
too
damn
much.
couch.
You know what I mean? I will, it is
Somebody
what it is.
will, yes,
But
not
yeah,
you.
no, well, we'll see. I mean, there was talks of air mattresses. I guess what I'm saying is, dudes are just typically more flexible, and I think uh, I think the amenities of the home far outweigh the sleeping situation, right? Like this place has a legit putting green in the living room, like where the TV, the couch, and the sitting area is. The entire floor is like legitimately turf with little holes in it for putting, which is just, in my opinion, pretty sick. You're just sitting there and one night, just everybody's hanging out, chatting it up in the living room, and we're having little putting contests or just whatever, what I'm saying, just something to do. And then there's a simulator in the home as well. So, obviously a golf trip that also includes a simulator. So I don't know how much that's going to get used at the end of the day,
Oh,
because
I'm using
obviously
it. I'm
I know
using
we're using it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if we're playing like whole 18 holes, all 6 of us, that sort of thing. Like, but I think it would be good to get some swings, be good to kind of hit, just, mess around in the evening time or just whatever, we got going on, and should help us stay, relatively sharp out there on the course. Cause, coming out of the winter season here in Ohio, it swinging golf clubs is few and far between from like really kind of right now. Although we have been getting some decent weather, here and there. So, actually, I shouldn't even really say here and there. We've had really great
It's
weather
been
for like the
beautiful.
last, month and a half. Like we started in the
Yeah.
low 80s, like 60s in the evening, and now we're, 40s in the evening. But I mean, the days are still getting into the mid 60s, sun shining, crisp breeze, which really, in my opinion, mid 60s to low 70s is just prime golf weather. You're not working up too much of a sweat, but the sun's still out to where you're warm. You can, kind of wear a combination of pants and a polo, or a
Hoodie
hoodie, or
shorts.
hoodie shorts. You know what I mean? So it really is just prime time. So I don't know how I got here from talking about the simulator, but I was just saying, yes, it becomes harder to to swing golf clubs in the wintertime unless you go to a simulator here, which doesn't necessarily emulate real golf to the fullest. So yeah, it'll be cool. We're going down to Myrtle Beach, and we picked a spot that's like really centralized. We got courses on the north side of Myrtle Beach. We got courses that we're going to play on, or a course on the south side. We're probably like 10-15 minutes away from the airport. And then obviously there's everything that you could, I'm sure, possibly want to do when it comes to food, all that, down in that area as well. So
Couldn't agree more. And Yeah, it should be interesting to see how many rounds are played here in the springtime before we get down there. By the six of us as a collective group, it should be interesting. I would say, just throwing a number out there, let's go 12 between the six of us, two a person, but from springtime till when we go. That's my hypothesis here.
Well,
For combined,
I
all
think
six of us.
I think I'd take those numbers because I think you're a sports book who's leaving the bet open. So yeah, I'm gonna take those numbers because I think you left yourself open to a little bit of a liability there. Like if we were betting, you're forgetting one thing, that there's one of the six of us that does not live in cold climate
True.
and will
True.
likely be playing probably 12 rounds himself between now and then.
Yeah.
So I'll take those numbers and we'll bet on it and see where we come out as the cumulative between now and then. But I would venture to say Wes will probably take care of those 12 by himself before
My
then.
guy. He's him. He's him for that.
I mean, even if we're more than 12 weeks away. So I mean, even if he just plays one Sunday,
Once a week.
Sunday a week, because I know he'd be busy, but I do believe he'd still be trying to get out there and play a couple Sundays a month. So
the country club will help me out as well. I've decided that I'm riding out the weather as long as I possibly can this winter and into the spring as well. The course is in absolutely fantastic shape. I mean, just immaculate, and weather is beautiful. I'm just gonna keep rocking out. They don't close throughout the winter time, so if we get a day where it's 50 and sunny, I'm out there in the middle of December. Fuck it.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with that. I think ultimately you live very close, no tee times. Lot of positive factors would lead into me believing that you potentially are going to get quite a few rounds in yourself. I mean, I would set the line at between now and April. I'm thinking between you and Wes, we're probably talking 20 plus just between the two of you.
I think I'd agree.
I think that'll. I think the rest of us four are probably more in line with the 12 that you originally put up. I will probably play the least amount between now and then, to be honest. We'll see. But actually, no, I think there's another cat that will probably play less than I do.
I did get him out last night, but
yeah. But I feel like
I might have got him back in the game. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll monitor the situation.
Monitoring the situation for sure.
Oh man. So yeah, I mean, obviously I don't really have too much else going on in life, but what about you? I mean, I know we're coming upon the winter season. You've made some declarations that you will not spend this winter being freezing cold consistently. So, you know, what are your hibernation? What are your snowbird plans for the year?
So right now we have a trip to Mexico in the works for the second week of December. So trying to get out in December and then have a trip to Florida planned to go see the in-laws. Well, obviously Cameron's brother and sister-in-law and niece, and mine as well, obviously.
So your in-laws, yeah.
I started that by saying Cameron's brother, obviously not my brother-in-law. So yes, my in-laws as well. Yes. But yeah, gonna go see them for a little bit in January, get out of the cold from there, and still trying to figure out what the move is for February. Need to make something shake in February, more so than I think December, in my opinion, because I think in December we're still kind of excited a little bit about the cold weather. Like, it's a good change up a little bit. But by the time we get to February, it's like, all right, we're done with this shit. Let's go. We need to go somewhere. So February is like top of mind for sure. We gotta get somewhere in February, whether that's like Carolina is just on a whim, looking at the weather and seeing that it's going to be 75 there 2 weeks away and going down there for a couple days or something like that. Just get out of the cold in February.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like the colder, one, I feel like we don't really reach our peak of cold weather until January, February anyway. So one, that's where we actually really get cold. Like, I mean, I know that one Christmas a couple years back, I mean, we had some snow, but for the most part, I feel like we typically avoid it in December. But I feel like cold weather is synonymous with our I mean, for me, obviously we were raised in Ohio, so it's synonymous with the holiday season. So I guess once the holiday season is past and you're past Thanksgiving, you're past Christmas, you're past New Year's, at that point you're just kind of like, okay, yeah, let's bring summer back into this. I mean, I could not imagine celebrating a Christmas in 80-degree weather. Like, partially I could, but like we went on vacation last year and I remember like telling you, like, dude, like we got home literally like 2 days before Christmas. I'm like, this is the most Christmas I've ever experienced in my life, because I'm literally like coming off of Mexico timeline and it was freaking gorgeous down there. And then you come back and it's cold and it's just, you're like, dude, it's really December, like December 23rd. Like, and I'm in like 80-degree weather, like in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm sweating out here. And it's just, playing golf and all the things that are not synonymous in my brain with Christmas time were happening last year. So it's a good switch up, but I am excited. My siblings are all coming home this year for Christmas. So all four of us will be together for the first. I was
going to say that's probably the first time in a minute, right?
Yeah, I think my youngest sister and my brother, it will be a year and a half before or since the last time that they've seen each other, which is just boggles my mind. But
they do live on two opposite coasts of the country.
Yeah, they do. So I guess
legitimately the opposite coast.
Yeah. So I guess if it's a year and a half for them, then yeah, it's been a year and a half since we've all been together.
It's crazy.
Certainly is
how life goes, though, unfortunately or fortunately. Obviously, there's positives and negatives to it.
No doubt. Yeah. I mean, to each his own. Everybody's different, and I'm happy for them guys. They appear to be happy, but yeah, selfishly, I do wish that my siblings were much closer. But we'll enjoy it when they come home, and it'll be a fun time. So I am looking forward to the holidays this year, and looking forward to experiencing it a little bit more than I did last year. Last year, I feel like I was just kind of there. You know what I mean? I really wasn't there mentally, but I was there physically. But I was not
mentally in Mexico.
Yeah, mentally in Mexico, mentally in tropics. So, but I mean, you'll be experiencing that this year, which I know you experienced it many times before, because I feel like this is a popular time for you guys to kind of get out of Dodge.
Yeah. We made a little pact that we're done going on summer vacations. I mean, not done, but like we're going to focus our vacations in the wintertime when we can't stand the weather up here. So make it happen a little bit better.
It's tough though. Like it's tough in that time period, I feel like, because
of the holidays. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also tough in the summer too, because like we went to Jamaica two years ago for like my post wedding for my sister, and it was the hottest like climate that I've ever experienced in my life. Like I literally could not like walk out of the front door without being drenched in sweat, like before dinner, all of it. And I'm just like, is that cool? Yeah, but like if I'm at home, like it's 82 and I feel great. Down here, it's like 95 in the middle of the day, and it's like hotter at night than what it is at home in the middle of the day, which is just mind-boggling. So I feel you. Like I'd rather just stack up my credits and go when it's cold, because who wants to escape hot weather to go to hotter weather ultimately?
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. But yeah, should be a good little winter for sure. Hopefully I'm definitely following up on that Carolinas. Like I told you the other day, I want to play some Dormant Bermuda grass. So I'm keeping an eye. I downloaded the AccuWeather app that shows like a month out of temperatures and whatnot. So I'm going to be keeping my eyes on that one. And if I, scope out a good little weekend, might take a little trip down there and play some Dormant Bermuda golf, because Bermuda is my favorite surface to play on personally. I just absolutely fucking love it. And the Bermuda or the Dormant one, it just looks so pristine in my opinion. So,
yeah, heard you got all the offers as well, so could maybe find a little deal for yourself to get down there.
I have all the offers for a group, yes, not for myself.
Right. Well.
Or at least a duo. I can't do the single occupancy, unfortunately.
I heard there's some cats out there on the list that might go.
Yeah, maybe
I heard they're potential trade partners as well.
Ooh.
No, they're not. Neither are existent. Huh.
I'll have to do some more research on that, monitor the situation on both fronts.
I don't think either is existent, unfortunately. I don't think finding someone to go and finding a trade partner is likely.
Unfortunately, you're probably right. So I'll have to accept that fate, unfortunately.
Hey, that's all right. All right, guys. Well, yeah, kind of just going. This is probably the most chilled, laid back Saturday talks of all time. I feel very calm over here. I feel like this was very tranquil, very
Low
nice.
heart rate.
Yes, low heart rate.
Low stress.
Low stress and in a good zone. Obviously, Zach got worked up a little bit there for a second when we let him get going about fantasy football trades, but all in all, it was it was great to chat with you guys. Obviously, I feel like as we move into the winter months, just kind of less and less going on in life. Typically, how it works, right? Summers are extremely busy, and winters become, a lot less busy, I would say, or typically. So we'll keep you guys up to date with what's going on. But appreciate you guys tuning in, and always good to kind of chat about life and different things,
Absolutely enjoyed this one for sure. Hopefully you guys found some laughs and enjoyed it, and can find some tranquility in my fantasy football frustration. Hopefully your league has more trades than mine. So I leave you on that parting note.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch up with you guys next time. See ya.
Cheers.